Alright, so here's the final video. It's all put back together. And we don't have any more leaks. Now, I did go and repair this hose by myself. And what I did was, I took 1 1/8 shrink wrap tubing that's made by Gardner Bender. And it's got, like, rubber cement on the inside, like some sort of epoxy glue. So it's watertight. And it's about 1/16 of an inch thick. And I slipped it over the tube, and once it shrunk, it got down to about 1/8 of an inch thick, and it grabbed that tubing all the way around. And since the threading around the inner hose wasn't broke, I figured this is pretty much a permanent repair, because that is like glued to the outer remnants of the outer hose, and it shrunk it really tight once it got that thick. And then I had one more hiccup with trying to bleed the air out. I had to open this manual release valve, and of course the little it takes a slotted head screwdriver, and of course it just snapped the slot off both sides. So I dug out the rubber seal that is around the shaft of the valve and sprayed some penetrating oil in there, and then I just took a screwdriver and I tapped on it and pried it, stuck that on each side and bent it left and right a little bit, just enough to kind of wiggle it to break the rust loose. So, I got in there and I was like, jimmying on it. And then I tried to get a vice grip in there, but that didn't work, because the counter bore was just too small to fit any sort of jaws. But I got to thinking, if I took one of these weird Torx bit things they sell at Harbor Freight and I pounded that down around the nub of the shaft, maybe I'd be able to get it to turn with a 1/4 inch ratchet. So I got what size is this? What size torque is it? It says E8 on there. So I took an E8 and I was able to open the manual release, which if you open that, the motor will drop. That should. Yep, see, there she going down. It'll go down real slow. But that's for if you get stuck out in the water and you lose power, and you lose electricity, you can't get it open. But you also need to open that to bleed it. So, let's tighten it back up. Now, I'm assuming this is just going to wiggle off, because I'm done bleeding the air out. What you do is, you get the motor all the way down with the manual valve, and then you run it for 10 seconds. Oh yeah, see? So it worked. Pounding that down on the shaft worked. So you run it for 10 seconds, and then you close the valve. You run it for 10 seconds with the motor down with the valve open. And then you shut the valve, and then you top off your oil, which the fill port's right here, until it runs out. Then you put the plug in so that it's loose, that way air can get in and out. And then you start running the motor up and down to bleed the air out of the rams. And once you can get it all the way up, then all the way down, you put it all the way down so that all the oil goes back in the reservoir, and then you top the reservoir off, and you're done. And I think I'm gonna caulk that. You can't get that part, it's unobtainium. But maybe I could get a buddy at a machine shop to make a new one out of stainless steel. They made it out of aluminum. But, so I'm just gonna show it working. Why don't you put it down? So it should get to the trim setting. There we go. And now we'll put it all the way up. And let's see if we got any leaks here. Don't see any leak there. Don't see any leak there, so I'd call this a win. Alright, thank you for watching. Now I just gotta clean this mess up. Bye-bye. I can't stop it because there's water on the screen.
Oh, it's just lovely. Oh, it's so wet.